Thank you for joining with me for the meditation for lesson 102. I share God's will for happiness for me. You do not want to suffer. You may think it buys you something, and you may still believe a little that it buys you what you want. Yet this belief is surely shaken now, at least enough to let you question it and to suspect that it really makes no sense. It has not gone as yet, but lacks the roots that once secured it tightly to the dark and hidden places of your mind. We are going to devote our periods of practicing to help you reach the happiness God's will has placed in you. Here is your home, and here your safety is. Here is your peace, and here there is no fear. Here is salvation. Here is rest at last. We will move into a silent meditation for 5 minutes. Use the lesson as the mantra or the mantra of your choice. I share God's will for happiness for me, and I accept it as my function now. Let us seek this function deep within our minds, for it is there awaiting but our choice. You cannot fail to find it when you learn it is your choice and that you share God's will. Be happy, for your only function here is happiness. I share God's will for happiness for me, and I accept it as my function now. I share God's will for happiness for me. We pledge ourselves to remember as often as we can that our function of forgiveness awaits our decision, for only there can we find the happiness we deserve as God's Son. Suffering is not God's will, but its distortion. However, coming simply from our mistaken choice, the pain is easily corrected. We do deserve to be happy, and that is what we need to remember throughout the day. We also need not to forget that happiness must be shared with everyone, otherwise it cannot express the oneness of God's will. Since God's Son is one, so must his happiness be one as well. I share God's will for happiness for me, and I accept it as my function now. Be happy, be joyful, have a beautiful day. I love you so much. Thanks for joining with me today. I will see you tomorrow.